Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with another video of the UFC predictions series. This weekend, August 16th, 2025, we got UFC 319, middleweight championship between Dricus du Plessis and Hamzat Chimaev. This one should be a good one. Yeah, let's get straight into it with the predictions that we got. So, there were actually some last minute change ups to this card. Actually, I think two fights got dropped. Bobby King Green's fight and another fight I know got dropped, where they picked up some dude off the Contender Series who's fighting on 4 day notice. He just fought on Tuesday in Dana White's Contender Series, and he's fighting again on this Saturday. Crazy turnaround. I'll talk more about it when we get to this section. But yeah, starting off this card in the flyweight, we got Alabi Idris versus Joseph Morales. I don't really know either of these guys. I think they're both debuting, actually. I'm going to go with Joseph Morales because I have a childhood friend with that exact same name. So, why not? Next up, we got Karine Silva versus Dione Barbosa. Women's flyweight, 125ers, right? I'm going to go Karine. I've seen more of Karine, and I believe she's also ranked in flyweight division. Yeah, so we're going to go Karine on that one. Next up, we got Brian Pooh Bear Battle versus Nursultan Roziboyev. 6'1" versus 6'5", so the reach, you would think Nursultan would have better reach, but he actually doesn't. Brian has just the same about reach. They're favoriting Brian to win this one, and Brian's a bit of a dog, right? This is at middleweight, and I know Brian used to fight welterweight, I believe. So he's up at middleweight. Both orthodox fighters, right? About the same age. This one's a bit of a toss-up, but I think I'm gonna go Brian on this one. I think he can get it done. He's a little bit more of a dirty fighter. Not saying he cheats. I'm just saying the way he fights is a uglier style, right? And it'll probably get the job done in this one, I say. Crazy, but we got Edson Barbosa on early prelim in the big 2025 versus Jakar Close. Man, Barbosa's almost 40, but it's not like Close is a young guy either. So they're fighting at 155. Barbosa has fought at 145 for some of his career, so 155 will give him more strength. And this dude is still shredded, man. At 39, he's still shredded. So if his cardio is matching his look, or his fighting cardio, his attacks and stuff are still matching that same physique, how that physique looks, there's no reason why he doesn't win this one. But yeah, I'm going Edson Barbosa on this one. So get into the prelims. We got Chase Hooper versus Alexander Hernandez. I like Alexander Hernandez. He's a good fighter, but I think Chase Hooper's just striding right now, getting submissions. He's 25. Alexander's 32. 7-year age gap. If this one stays on the feet, it favors Alexander, but I think it'll go to the ground eventually, and I think Chase will find a sub, or he may get some ground and pound. But Chase Hooper's no slouch, man. He's like a babyface assassin. So we're gonna go Chase on this one. I just think he's a better fighter in this fight. Alexander a couple of years ago, maybe not, but yeah, I think the age wins this one out. Next up, we got Jessica Andrade versus Lupi Godinez. In this one, I'm going to go Lupi Godinez. I think Andrade's on her way out of the UFC. I think she just fought a lot, And Lupi Godinez, she has really tight boxing. She's got that Mexican boxing. And I believe she trains with Grosso now. So, yeah. I'm going to go Godinez on this one. I just think Andrade, she's just not who she used to be, and she was amazing. Andrade is a legendary women's fighter, women's martial artist, but I think Godinez has this one in the bag, man. So I'm going Godinez. I know it seems like I'm picking all the favorites in this one, but I got some unpopular picks for the main card. So stay tuned. Next up, we got the short notice fight that I was talking about. Um, Baisangar, Susurkayev versus Eric Nolan. It's like the most Russian of Russian names versus Eric Nolan, you know? This one, I think I haven't seen either of the guys fight. I think they're both coming off the Contender Series short notice. Like I said, this guy, Baisangar, is coming off of 4 days notice. Fought Tuesday. He's fighting Saturday. 2 fights in a week, man. That's nuts, right? But I think that might give him the edge just being that fresh. And, he's naturally a middleweight. Eric Nolan is actually a welterweight. So he's fighting up. Doesn't mean he has to cut as much weight. But I think having a fight on Tuesday and then, fighting into Saturday, your training camp's already good. Like, you're already primed. So I think it'll be an easy win for him. No shot to Eric, though. But if he pulls that off, that'll be sick. Dude's a plus 600. This is the heaviest favorite on the card, minus 1,000. So, yeah. And then the featured prelim, we got Gerald Meerschaert, G3 versus Michael Olszewski. Hopefully I said that right. I like Gerald Meerschaert. His last fight wasn't bad. I believe he got a submission, but we're probably gonna go Michael Olszewski on this one. Polish power. I think he gets it done, man. 7-year age difference, but Gerald Meerschaert's ground game is nothing to be played with, man. He's actually really nice on the ground. But I'm going to go Michael Olszewski on this one. All right, getting into our main card. We got Tim Elliott versus former title challenger Kai Asakura. This is a flyweight bout, 125ers. These guys are both ranked. I believe Elliott's like 12 and Kai Asakura's ranked 15. I think Kai Asakura gets his knockout in this one. And it's another thing. I'm playing to the age game, but Tim Elliott's 38. He's been in the UFC since 2012, so that's a lot of mileage, and Kai Asakura's been in Japan, so he hasn't been fighting the same caliber. But at the same time, that could mean he's fresher. He has a little bit of height on him, more reach. Elliott's path to victory, I would say, is going to the ground, obviously, because if you watched Kai Asakura versus Alexandre Pantoja, But if Kai's been working on his ground game, dope, but I don't think that's his style. So, but in this one, my pick would be Kai Asakura. I think he can get the KO, and I think he'll get it early first round, maybe early second. Next up, we got Jared Cannonier, Killer Gorilla, versus MVP Michael Venom Page, right? So Michael Venom Page is fighting up 185. He's usually a 170, but he's been fighting at both weights, which I think is, a hard thing to do, and it will mess up your rankings, but he is fighting quality guys and getting good wins, right? The loss to Ian Gary, but he beat Shar Bullet. He beat Kevin Holland, so he knows what he's doing. He's 3-1 in the UFC right now. But this one against Jared Cannonier, it's hard to tell because Page, he's rangy, man. He does that shoot boxing. But I like Jared Cannonier. What he did in that last fight against Jared Rodriguez, he was in deep water with Gregory Rodriguez, RoboCop. He was in some deep water, and he found that finish because it wasn't looking too good for him. But against Michael Venom Page, electric. I think Michael Venom Page going up to 185 is going to be the reason why he loses this one. I think he doesn't have the frame. He even admitted to not having the frame, which means he may not have the power. His body might not feel right for 185ers. Yeah, and I think that might slow him down a bit once he realizes Jared Cannonier can take a punch, right? He's a gorilla, man. Literally, his nickname is the Killer Gorilla. So I got Jared Cannonier winning this one. The way he wins it, I'm not sure. I could see it going the distance, but I could see Michael Venom Page kind of getting desperate, trying to get that highlight. Everyone knows he's a human highlight, so I'll probably go Jared Cannonier on this one. Yeah, first underdog I'm taking so far. Or let's see, did I take any other underdogs in this? I don't think I did. So yeah, that'll be the first underdog I take. Yeah, but not the last. Stay tuned. Next up, we got Jeff Neal versus Carlos Pratis from the Fighting Nerds. And Pratis was the first of the Fighting Nerds to lose in the UFC. He lost to Ian Gary recently. And I love the Fighting Nerds. They're a great group of guys, but I think Carlos loses again, man. I think he's a little cocky. Losing to Ian Gary may have woken him up, but I think the hands of Jeff Neal are just, it's going to be too much power for him, you know? And I think Jeff Neal has a stronger chin than Ian Gary. So the fact that he couldn't find Ian Gary's chin gives me more confidence in Jeff Neal to get it done. Now, I could see this one going either way. Pratis could get a nice KO, right? But I think Jeff Neal, he seemed pretty dialed, pretty focused on what I saw in UFC Embedded and the press conferences and whatnot and the media stuff. But this one should be a banger. This one might be the best fight on the card because of just how fast and crazy it gets. Hopefully. It seems like these guys both want to bang and want to get a KO. So, yeah. Co-main event, we got Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico's debut in the UFC, and I'm not going to lie, I haven't seen any of Aaron Pico's fights. I did watch some highlights. He's got some crazy knockouts, but that's outside the UFC, man. You know? Hard to rate it. I know he's highly touted, you know, could have been Olympic wrestler, apparently. That's what DC says. But I'm going Lerone Murphy, man. 8-fight win streak. Excuse me. I think he makes it 9. I think he gets Aaron Pico out of there, man. He's a little bit older than Pico. And I know I've been playing the age game for a lot of this card, but Murphy's sharp, dude. I think he'll catch Pico. I think Pico will have a similar performance to Pitbull. When Pitbull Patricio joined the UFC, he was like kind of starstruck, it seemed like, in his fight against Yair Rodriguez. So I think it'll be something similar to that. But I think Lerone Murphy's going for the kill. Both of them are probably going to go for the kill. Aaron Pico has had some crazy knockouts. Check his highlights from like Bellator. And yeah. But I'm going Murphy on this one. I think his experience in the UFC will pay dividends. I think Aaron Pico, we'll see. I can't speak too much on the guy because I haven't seen much, but we'll see what happens. But my pick would be Lerone Murphy, so another underdog I'm taking. So far, that's 3 straight underdogs, man, in this main card. And last but not least, we got the fight in which this card was wrapped around, the 2 men in which this card was, made about. Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev, middleweight championship. So Khamzat hasn't tasted defeat yet. Dricus du Plessis hasn't tasted defeat since being in the UFC. Oh man, excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. Khamzat is a different breed. Everyone knows that. He's a different breed, man. See what he did to Whitaker. See what he did to Jiang. I think Ji Liang, the Leech. Like, what he's done to guys is insane. Recently, Robert Whitaker, too, because Like, you would think Robert Whitaker's on the way out, but his last fight against RDR, in my opinion, Whitaker won. But hey, it is what it is. So Whitaker is no slouch. He's still may not be at his peak, but the way Hamzat finished him in one round, dude, is crazy. But DDP, just the funkiness, like unpredictable. The main thing will be if Dricus du Plessis gets out of the first and second round and drags Hamzat into that third, fourth round. If it goes to a fifth, I think Hamzat's gonna be gassed out because he's going for the kill. It's no mystery, it's no surprise. He's going for the kill, as fast as possible. And that's the thing. If Dricus makes a mistake, Hamzat will capitalize, right? So let's look at the tail of the tape. These guys are about the same, height. Hamzat's 1 inch taller, but in a fight, is that really gonna give you much? About the same reach, same age. I don't know, man. This one's a tough one. I was actually going back and forth with this one while I was doing my research, and it's really hard to even call this one personally. I could see it going both ways. If I had to pick right now, I think I'm gonna go Dricus du Plessis. I think he can handle the pressure of Hamzat because his frame, he's very big. Dricus walks around 230, so by the time of the fight, he's gonna be 200 plus, right? Now Hamzat is freakishly strong, and the things he's done to people, not only on the feet but especially on the ground, in the wrestling division, he's very good, very good. But DDP is, he's a champ for a reason. He's gone through some guys. He's faced Whitaker. He's faced Adesanya. He's faced Sean Strickland. So DDP has, fight history. He has some knowledge. And I think he weathers the storm the first round, maybe demands his respect in the second, and then the third he starts turning it around, and in the fourth he finds the finish. I don't know what Hamzat's mentality will be once he gets out of the first round, the second round, getting into the third. I don't know his mindset because I've seen him fight both Usman and Burns. He fought Usman at 185. Usman was on a short notice as well, and debatable. Burns, that was a 170 fight, and that was the first time we saw Hamzat look mortal, right? Because before that, he's just shredding through people. But Burns, clipped him. Might have even won a round in that fight. I personally thought it was very close. I personally thought Burns, there was a case for Burns. Maybe split decision Hamzat, maybe split decision Burns, whatever. My opinion, I don't care. But same thing with Usman. Usman coming on for short notice, making Hamzat look beatable, showing ways to beat Hamzat in a sense. So if Dricus, studied that stuff, his coach prepared him for that. Although he has the crazy style, that's not really a style. He even said this, like, no one can figure out my style because I can't figure out my style. So he admits to that, which is a strength of his, because then, like, you can study him all you want. You're not going to be able to predict him. With Hamzat, he's shooting. Hamzat will shoot on you. If he, So, this one should be real interesting, but I think DDP weathers the storm. If it gets out the first round, DDP. But if Hamzat gets that first round finish, oh man, middleweight is in trouble. But yeah, so that's what I got for you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you guys are picking too. I'm gonna start trying to upload these UFC predictions a little bit earlier, at least 24 hours before the fights start, and I also will go through my other videos and start getting my record just to see how I'm doing in these predictions. Hopefully, I'm above 50, but we'll see. I think the last card I did pretty good. Maybe dropped a 2 or 3. I think I dropped 3, but one was controversial, so I don't know if we could really count that. But as always, catch you guys in the next one, and thank you for watching. Peace.